Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Midnight Mondays on the Compound with the Nat 30s. My name is James Davey. I am the creator of the Midnight World, and I'll be running the next episode of The Black tonight. We are going to start off by talking about this week's charity. Unfortunately, the recipient of this week's charity is a mother who recently has found their young child passed away, and they need as much help as they can get in prepping for the costs that are associated with that in our particular capitalist hellhole. So if you can help out, please do. Now we're going to go to each of our players. We're going to talk about them a little bit because they're way cooler than me. We are going to start with, let's say, Kat. Tell them who you are. Tell them what you're about.
Hey everybody, it's She's Cat here. Tonight I'll be playing Elizah Dundston, and she's kind of an asshole. And I'm ready for vacation, so if I go duh, sorry guys.
I think I feel that like all the time myself. All right, we're going to go next to Pixie. Tell us all about yourself, Pixie.
Hi, I will be playing tonight Chloe Wheeler, who is a scientist on board and resident mom friend. Um, I won't apologize for the puns. Sorry, not happening. There will be puns. That is your warning.
For one morning. All right, we're going to go down to Oriana. Is that the right way to say that?
Ourania.
Ourania. Damn it, I never get it right. Ourania, tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Ourania Stars. I will be playing Dr. Catherine Sharpe this evening. Or not Catherine. Oh my gosh, Caterina. Caterina Sharpe. Caterina Sharpe is a biomedicine researcher who is very no nonsense, but is definitely the peacemaker of the group.
We need that.
Yeah.
We
I'm
need that.
glad.
Considers herself a little too clever for her own good as well. So we'll see how that goes.
Wait, did you roll a parental as well?
No, actually, she's a perfectionist to all hell, but like she understands that perfection is often like garnered through like collaborative effort. So here we are.
Yeah. All right, and finally, we're going to go down to my man, Egger. Tell us all about yourself.
I'm Egger, 21st Century Balder on our various social medias and things. I'll be playing Dr. Jerrick Sigmundsen, the gregarious pilot and submersible mechanic for the E-Cars, who is he's not been having a good time. It's been a rough trip for poor Dr. Sigmundsen, but he's really looking forward to just getting on with the mission and figuring out what exactly is it that we can find down here in this interesting new oceanic trench.
The good news is that I'm sure everything is going to be fine from here.
Oh, it's going to be so good. Like, we've already gone over all the big problems, so it's all downhill from here, or down trench at least.
Absolutely. All right, guys. In that case, we're going to launch right into it. Is my air conditioner too loud, or is this okay?
You're fine.
Okay. All right, so let us get started. You step out of the SIRS and onto the deck, the iron and aluminum mesh deck between the two moon pools. The Wasp suit is exactly where it was. The rock and roll music is playing. And so what we're going to say here to introduce the fact that there's a character here who wasn't there before, I don't really like to make that a whole thing. I feel like it's disruptive to the game. So we're going to say that Dr. Sharpe was always here. She is Dr. Sharpe a she?
Yes.
Okay. She just was sort of over here doing her thing, and you guys know that she's there. There's no question why she's there. Dr. Sharpe, you are aware of the fact that there has been some malfunction with the AI, but also that there's been a weird time loop, and you're on the third iteration of the time loop. And you know that down at the bottom, towards the back of the vehicle, you've just discovered that something is taking over, and it is stringing these like thick black organic cables all through the back of the vehicle, and that is what the AI known as Evelyn is referring to as the black is down there in that stuff. Also, I need everybody to go ahead. We're going to start the game with an intuition and vigilance. I will allow you to upgrade your dice this time if you have performance or create as an aptitude.
Said intuition and vigilance?
Intuition and vigilance.
Despite enjoying playing my guitar, I don't have either of those things. So for all of you who are there when I have my solace moments and I'm playing my guitar, apparently I'm bad at it.
No, so in this game, we say you're not necessarily bad at it, but you're probably not the next Eddie Van Halen.
Probably not Van Halen.
Yeah, probably not.
I do not have those.
I forgot my distress die.
Yep.
That's fun.
Yay! I got a success. I didn't botch it this time.
Oh no, I botched this one.
That's also fun.
So we're gonna say if you got at least one hit. Did anybody get 0 hits? Okay, so then if you got more than 1 hit or a hit or more, you absolutely immediately recognize this is not the same rock and roll song that is played on the previous 2 iterations. It is a rock and roll song, but it is a different one. Dr. Sigmundsen, you catch that something is weird with the music, but you're not at all able to figure out what it is before your foot catches on a piece of exposed pipe and you trip into the moon pool. So I am going to say that the moment you hit it, you guys see this. He sort of, you guys are all like, what the music is different, and he's just over. And when he falls into the pool, again, that same sensation happens from when you were in the suit, but this time it is your physical body that is doing it. It feels like the front half of you as it hits the water is extending 5 times faster than the back half of you, and that you are just horizontally stretching infinitely into this pool. And you know that's the hydrostatic gel or the hydrophobic gel that's causing that. Mm-hmm. It is unbelievably uncomfortable. I want you to add a minute just for having sensed it. Oh. And now I'll give everybody an opportunity to react to this.
Yeah, pull him back. Even though last time I got stabbed for my efforts, I'm gonna do it again. I guess I'm a glutton for punishment.
Just gonna try to just drag him out.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna try and assist with that effort as well.
Because I'm very interested to see how this might go, I am gonna say we're gonna allow assists on this. So who is going to make the main role?
I'd say Chloe would probably be
I was
the
like
mom friend and the one
okay.
most often
like
paying attention.
She is only passably strong, but she's still gonna try to like get her colleague out of this very uncomfortable situation. It might not go well, but it's in character for her to take the lead, so we're gonna do that.
All right.
It'll be more than uncomfortable if I get through this water.
And Doctors Sharpe and Dundston are, I'm assuming, assisting in this role?
Yes.
The way that we do assisting is, does either Dr. Dundston or Dr. Sharpe have athletics as an aptitude?
No.
Very well.
If there were any way I could argue that my martial arts training in Kung Fu would help.
Not going to allow that.
Yeah, it's not exactly jujitsu.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to allow Dr. Wheeler to have an additional 2d6 on this roll because of the assists that are coming from them. I do want to go ahead and point out though, that Dr. Dundston, you dive over without thinking to help him, and then you are face to face with your own reflection. So go ahead and take a minute.
Oh.
Awesome.
Also, Catherine, we lost your camera. I don't know if that's on purpose or not.
Yes.
Okay.
I gotta adjust some things.
You're good. Just making sure.
And Dr. Sharpe, how many is a crowd, would you say?
Like
You'd
5
say
people.
3?
Maybe 3 to 5 people.
Yeah,
Depending
3's
on
a
the
crowd.
space, depending on
3's
the
a crowd,
space.
and that's an additional minute on your midnight clock.
Can do.
All right. Okay.
If anything, it's definitely very crowded. as
What am I
everybody
actually
dives into
rolling?
space.
Dr. Wheeler, I'm going to have you make a strength, and we're going to say toughness roll to get him out of here, because you're just trying to lift him out of the water.
Oh man, that's the thing I'm really good at. I wish I was making that roll.
She's tough. Not strong, but tough. Okay, we got 2 successes and a distress die. We're gonna do some
Yeah, roll
rerolling. And this minutes are gonna push me over. But that did work, so I'm up to 3 minutes now, so I'll be rolling 2 distress die in my next roll, but we did get
Okay.
net 2 successes.
Outstanding. So, Dr. Sigmundsen, they are able to pull you out, and it is, I'm not going to make you take another minute, but it is an almost unbearable sensation, because now there is traction coming from behind you, which is causing that feeling to actually almost fractally replicate.
Mm-hmm.
So the gravity of the water is pulling you down. Dr. Wheeler and crew are pulling from behind. And then there's just this liminal moment where you are utterly stuck nowhere. And you feel the front half of your body and the back half of your body extending off into infinity. And you hear that whisper, that familiar whisper that you only hear at the darkest times in the darkest places. And it says, take them to the bottom. And then you're pulled free.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is probably a familiar feeling to me.
I would think so.
Not a good one,
No.
but a familiar one.
I don't intend to provide you good feelings.
Yeah, that's not really your job here right now. So Dr. Sigmundsen will get pulled from the water, and this time, unlike last time, he's not quite in a panic. He's certainly clearly reacting and like very, very stressed out with the situation. Eyes are wide. He's starting to breathe heavy as soon as his head comes up from the hydrophobic gel. But he's coherent, and he's reaching out to people in ways that are supportive and conducive to getting him out of the water, as opposed to the way he was flailing before. And as he gets kind of like plopped down on the surface and like, so the music's a bit fucked today. Thank you. Evelyn.
Yes.
Evelyn, what's with the music?
This is the music that Dr. Erickson always has me cue up.
Oh.
Evelyn, are you feeling okay?
My systems are running nominally.
Good to hear. Dr. Sigmundsen, do you want me to get you a warm blanket?
I need to change, because I'm sure he's kind of covered in that gel.
Absolutely.
So,
and it's starting to hurt, because it is literally pushing moisture off of your skin.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure that I heard right. The AI said nominally, right?
The AI did say nominally, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I am looking at
There was no
everyone-
fee attached to it.
Yeah, no, like
All right, I need to get changed before this starts doing damage to my skin, and he'll start like kind of just unceremoniously peeling off clothes. It's a small ship. We were gonna see all of this eventually, anyway. And he's headed towards his quarters.
Is there like a before like he takes off too far? Is there like an emergency kit nearby?
Yes, there are emergency kits in every room.
Okay. Can I open one and see if there's like a security blanket?
There's one of the moon blankets, the trauma blankets.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it and be like, here, hey, just so you don't like freeze on the way back to your room. Here.
Oh,
Good thinking, Dr. Sharpe.
Of particular note, you didn't even really. It's probably incorrect to say that you didn't notice it, but it wasn't your pressing concern until Dr. Sharpe puts that blanket on you, and you realize just how cold that water was.
Mm-hmm.
That water was, it was literally, and now that you think about it, you remember the science. That water is sub-freezing, but because of the way it's being compressed, it can't actually freeze. So you're freezing, man.
And he'll kind of, Evelyn, what depth are we at?
Evelyn responds that you are at, I'm sorry, we are currently at 3,162 feet.
Are we meeting for first walk down? And no.
Yes, I was hoping everybody would first gather in the mess hall. I have one great meal planned for you all.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that first walk down was supposed to happen at 1,500 meters.
Oh, did you said that to her?
Yeah, I say that to Evelyn. Like,
he responds, according to my records, walk down is supposed to occur at error. And the error is a different voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would like to use my amazing recall skills. That pipe wasn't sticking out the floor before, was it?
No, it wasn't. And now that you
What
look,
else looks deteriorated?
so a lot of things. It's very, very minor. It's nothing that you can point to and say, look at the stains over there. But because you have that eidetic kind of memory, you remember an almost perfect 4K digital image of the moment you walked into this room. And everything was a very specific shade of white, whereas now things are really more eggshell. And now that you're looking, there is actually sort of a rust line running down the wall over there. And the wasp suit specifically has damage to it that you wouldn't have thought to look for. But now that you're sort of scanning around the room, you see that the drill arm has been broken and that there are all kinds of hydraulic wires exposed. None of that was like that before.
we won't need that. That's fine.
So, guys, it seems as though, and this is just a hypothesis, because as of yet, they still have to prove time travel, but we are experiencing a looping time experience. Within this loop, though, I don't know how to explain it properly, but I'm gonna try really hard. So we're in this loop. We keep coming back to the same starting point. However, that starting point is most likely only spatial and not chronological.
Not temporal.
Look at how the paint in here has aged.
Now that
There are
now
signs
that you
of
pointed out,
neglect.
you can absolutely see it.
So we have a support AI that is saying that their systems are only running in essentially in name only. so not totally convinced that our support AI is still the same AI that we got in here or we came down with. Now we're caught in a spatial loop that is still like our ship is still exhibiting the same wear and tear as time's been passing. That's not great.
No, it's not. And you forgot to mention that the AI or something has effectively infected the AI, but it's organic in nature.
Oh yes, I completely forgot that was
Dr.
a thing.
Erickson is, being held hostage by this. And I really wonder how he looks now on this third iteration. But the last time we tried to go down one of the hallways that we even knew on the second iteration, well, we didn't all try. Only my lovely partner there did. And yeah, he reported that it was pretty much a labyrinth of darkness and cables, but I'm starting to think the cables are arteries.
So our ship has possibly become part of a larger entity?
Yeah.
Joy!
Just add it to the list, right?
And Dr.
And-
Sharpe, you aren't here for the initial description, but Dr. Sharpe was. This is not just a support AI. This is literally the most advanced AI that has ever been created. It is orders of magnitude smarter than any human being alive. And when you first met it, it had, it was nice and fun and emotional. And you did not read from the way that it was speaking earlier that there was a lot of emotion to the way that it was talking.
So I would imagine that Evelyn's health is failing as well, kids. So it's totally up to everyone where they want to go, but yeah, that's the short and the skinny.
So this keeps repeating like it's a play on the same stage over and over again. But who's the director? How do we get the show canceled so we can continue this mission without all of this? And she gestures to the spot on her arm where she got stabbed by the space, by the deep aquatic things that broke through the moon pool in the previous iteration.
And when she was going to point at her arm, she sees that there are bright red and blue veins extending from that wound up her arm now.
Dude, that looks gross.
Yeah, that's worse than I remember.
Again,
It's not an open wound,
spatially, but not chronologically. I wonder. So
We need to get the show to stop before this reaches somewhere that I won't be able to recover from it, because I don't really want all my knowledge to die with me. That would be bad.
Oh dear.
Dr. Sigmundsen will clean off as fast as he can, making sure to get all the gel scraped off of him and change in his room. As he's changing, he's going to make sure that he's still got the notebook that we recovered last time. And because he's got a moment, he's going to go ahead and gather his things that he feels are going to be important to have. Speaking of, do I notice the wear and tear kind of as I'm going, or was I kind of focused on getting cleaned up and haven't really taken it in yet?
That's up to you.
Okay. He'll kind of come to that realization in that case as he's changing and he's in his quarters, hey, this is messed up. this is not the way this place looks. And he'll kind of take that opportunity or that moment to be like, okay, quick, let me scavenge what's in here, because what we've had on us every time we've kept. And if things keep getting worse, we may not have stuff next time. So he'll take a moment to kind of go about his room. Obviously, he's still got all of his stuff that that he had packed to come down. They hadn't unpacked as part of the iteration, but whatever stock and supplies that are part of the room, he's going to try and take if there's
Okay.
anything useful. And then
Um,
he'll head towards the galley.
okay, cool. Now, whether he noticed it before or not, as he heads towards the galley, it is clear the E-Cars is deteriorating. There are wires hanging down and sparking as you get closer to the galley. There are pieces of the gaskets between the joining sections that are clearly deteriorating and leaking. They're not like shooting water yet, but they are very clearly leaking. And the lights are flickering. And when you step into the galley, there is a meal set out, and it is the correct meal. It's the same meal you all had on that first night that Evelyn had prepared exactly to your specifications, only it is rotted. It is, it doesn't smell, or I'm sorry, there's a smell, but the smell is more of mold because it's so rotted that there's nothing, like it's all just mold, and it's clearly been here for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's nauseating.
So, who wants to do some quick math?
If I'm going to do some quick anything, it's going to need to be some patch repairs. If we're going to have any chance of surviving this iteration, and hopefully things can go backwards as well as forwards, I'm going to have to do something. I don't want to do this. Evelyn, could I have a gin, please?
I'm sorry, James.
A gin, a drink, a gin.
Okay. Certainly. She says, certainly, certainly. And the machine that does the pouring of your drinks shoots out a glass that shatters all over the floor, and the gin comes out of the dispensary in little bitty black driblets because it's been there for a while.
That's...
How long does it take for gin to go bad?
Not just bad, go black.
Question.
Yeah,
James,
so I want to do the math on that since no one wants to do the math on it. I want to try to do some math on.
Do we look physically older?
No, not at all.
James, my challenge, by the way, would have come up with that. So, do I need to take
Oh,
another
are you
minute, or-
addicted?
Mhm.
Yes. If you are unable to indulge in your addiction, then your challenge kicks in.
Okay, I'll take that minute, and Jerrick will just be kind of visibly frustrated with everything and be like, all right, if anybody needs me, I'm going to go take a look at the Wasp and take a look at the Sirs, because the past couple times we've been in here and it hasn't been enough. So I need to see if we can go back out and do something about it.
Okay.
Do you want someone to go with you?
I mean, Evelyn's always with us, right, Evelyn?
I am always with you.
I think the version we knew of her is gone. That's not her anymore.
Dr. Sharpe, I'm sure you have plenty of things you can be working on right now, and I don't want to take too much of your time away. I'll keep comms up, but I need to... Actually, it would be really good if somebody would come with me. I would really appreciate that.
I'll come with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll come with you.
We know those things are outside, so you shouldn't be walking alone.
Yes, because of the things. Thank you. And he'll kind of and just go.
All right. So 2 of you are going to the barracks rooms, and the other 2 are staying here.
I was headed to the moon pool to work on, to see the state of the wasp suit and the SIRS to see if we have an option here.
And the other 2 are staying in the galley. Is that right?
For now.
Okay.
I will, yeah. I want to do math on this. I want to see if I can do some calculations on, like, what I know about food rotting timelines.
Are those black cables here? The black cords that are like veins or wires?
They're not here yet, no.
Okay. Yeah, Wheeler wants to do a biopsy on those, but are any of them like visible? Like
Not from where you are. The
Not where
last
we are.
place you saw them was a little further down towards the server rooms.
Hey, Dr. Dundston, do you want to help me take some samples of those black cords and see if it's made of the same stuff that was bursting into the moon ball?
And don't forget, we also do still have the bucket or the trash can with the
That's right, you do.
specimen in it.
We do.
Because we were going to head to the biolabs and weren't able to do that last time.
Yeah, I want to see if it's made the same stuff as this.
Yeah. Sure, we can do that. I can do my calculations on the way.
Right on.
Good, let's find out.
So we're going to start with the 2 going to the moon pool. So Dr. Sigmundsen, you're going and you're going to check on the wasp suit. Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay.
We'll
So
start
when you
with
get
the wasp and then to the SIR.
Okay. So when you get there, without having to look, just because of the aptitudes that you have, you are easily and immediately able to determine that there is damage to the wasp suit. It is damaged in a way that it was not before. You might have taken a couple of dings when you were EVA earlier, but you most certainly did not break the entire drill arm, which is what is going on now.
He'll just kind of sigh in frustration and be like, well, that would have been very helpful. And he'll start doing an integrity test. Like, is it still seaworthy?
It does appear to be. It doesn't look like any of the wasp suit is built so that basically if anything fails, your life will be protected. So even if the gaskets between like the arm joints fail, it's not going to depressurize and kill you. But if you were to have to go EVA right now, there is a substantial portion of your right arm that would be subject to the pressure. Now you had to do a ton of training at depth, but at 1,500 feet at original dive.
Mhm.
Now she's telling you that you're actually double that, and you're pretty sure you can withstand that kind of pressure, but you don't know for sure.
He'll clearly be kind of nodding and thinking about that and muttering them to himself a little bit about, like, pressure numbers and the differences at this depth as he's going through it, doing his tests and checking. Is there anything he can do to repair or restore that pressure functionality or the drill arm or both?
So he's got everything he needs there. I mean, there are tools. When you go to, thank you, bud. When you people drive me to drink. When you go to the tool chest, which is this sort of sleek white electronic chest of drawers that's got a number pad and everything on it, you're supposed to be able to use your isometrics to open it. it's off. All the electronics on it are off. You could probably force it open.
So to fix the thing, I have to fix this thing.
Or you could try to reconnect whatever power source is disconnected.
He'll try to get into it first, because if we can turn it back on, that's going to be better than breaking it.
Probably.
But obviously we need something. If necessary, could someone use the wasp suit to get to the surface? Is there enough life support in that machine?
To get to the surface, no. The Wasp isn't built that way. The Wasp has propulsion, but the propulsion is enough to carry it up 100 meters, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It is built to be on the bottom of the ocean.
Gotcha.
Theoretically, if you could grab the Sir with the Wasp, the Sir could bring the Wasp to the surface.
So it has enough like internal life support to sustain you for the trip up. It just can't get there on its own.
Yes.
Okay. So push comes to shove, worst case scenario, we could theoretically use some kind of like explosive buoyant system attached to the Wasp and get one person rapidly to the surface.
This is the first time that I've ever run this game that somebody has asked that. I don't see why not. If you could figure out an explosive buoyant system that would get the Wasp 3,000 feet up, then there is no reason it wouldn't be able to sustain the person who is in it. If we were doing a Last Girl style horror movie, and now maybe we are. Thanks for giving me that.
I'm helping. He'll kind of just tuck that in the back of his mind and be like, okay, well, someone can probably get out.
So go ahead.
Asterisk.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead and make me. This is going to be an acumen, and I'm going to call this one an acumen and wit, with an upgrade in electronics.
I have that. Acumen and wit. Sure, I'm glad. No, let's hit the buttons right, Edgar.
It's surprisingly hard to hit the buttons right.
It can be.
Yep, I struggle with it every stream.
Good
1,
roll.
2, 3, 4. 4 successes, 1 negative, so 3 net successes.
Very good. 3 nets. It's actually pretty simple. It's just it's a one single wire in the back has become deteriorated, probably from moisture rot, which you'll deal with the implications of why things inside this hydrophobic room are moisture rotting another time, not right now.
Another iteration.
Yeah, like maybe. Actually, you can't really deal with that another time. You do get it fixed, but there is that moment where you're like, if moisture is getting into this room, then that means it's either coming from one of the gaskets, which is actually the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is that the hydrophobic gel is losing its potency, and if it does, the water underneath that gel is at about 18,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. It is going to rocket through it with the force enough to literally atomize anybody who's in this room when it happens.
Are you sharing these observations with me as you take them?
That'll be more of a like, as he realizes it, he'll be like, oh, that's moisture rotted. That shouldn't be. And he'll just kind of like look up and be like, he'll look at Dr. Sharpe and be like, this should not be moisture rotted. Add this to the list of horrible problems we have.
So, and I'm assuming you'd like go through the whole like, well, it could be one of these two things.
Mm-hmm.
One is okay-ish. The other is not great.
And that's where he'll kind of leave it. He's not going to be like very graphic about what's happening, but he's like, one of them is that the gaskets are failing, which is a bad experience. And one of which is that the hydrophobic gel is failing, and that is an apocalyptic scenario for us.
I mean, apparently, considering that our ship is actively aging, both of those things could be possible.
Yeah, I don't even know how to untangle this ball of Christmas lights. Like, my whole focus right now is can we escape? And so kind of with that, he'll go back to the thing and open it up to get the materials out.
The moment that you say that,
Mm-hmm.
you feel somewhere in the depths of your soul take them to the bottom. And we're going to switch over to the other group. All right, guys. So you're headed towards the biolabs, correct?
Yeah.
Yep. Get a sample of the black accords and then compare them to the cage specimen that we have and find out if this is all connected.
It doesn't take long this time. You are 100% sure that the black starts at least 3 chambers, maybe 4 ahead of where you started noticing it last time. And again, this is just the little gray tendrils of organic matter. This isn't the main thick quartz, but this is what you started seeing last time, 3 or 4 chambers past where you're at. It is most definitely spreading up in towards the main sections of the e-cars. By the time you get to the server room, you are deep in the black. And you do have your little wrist lights, and you're turning them on, and all you're seeing is these thick black pseudo-organic cables and these sort of translucent spidery creatures of different sizes climbing up and down these cords, mostly ignoring you. Occasionally one will kind of come up to you and extend a leg and try to tap you with it. Do you let it?
I would tap it with my pen light.
Okay. The moment you do that, it seems to pause as if it is collating information, and then it goes on about its merry way as if it doesn't give a damn that you're there.
I don't trust the glowy things. I'm not letting them touch me.
You don't let them touch you?
I'm not gonna let them touch me.
The first time you do that, after a moment, it does the same thing. It sort of scampers away. Then 2 more come up and try to touch you. You don't let them, they scamper away. Then 6 more come up and try to touch you. You don't let them, and they scamper away. Then 15 more come up and try to touch you. And before you know it, you are surrounded by these things, constantly reaching out and trying to touch you.
Just let them touch the flashlight.
To the point where you're pretty sure if you move your arms, you're going to touch one of them. So go ahead and take a minute. And then Dr. Dundston comes up and touches her flashlight to them, and they go away.
You didn't have to let them touch you, but, you know, shake their little hand.
You guys,
I was done being stabbed. I don't know what they were. I didn't know what they were going to do to me, and I want to see this mission through.
Good point.
Flashlight.
You guys get to the server room and you sort of peek in, and if Dr. Erickson is still there, it's impossible to tell. It is the entire room is crawling with these things, and the thick black cables are everywhere. You do know that that room is inhospitable to human life. It is so hot. And you continue on down the hall, and you do eventually. Actually, I have decided that tonight is the night for me to be a dick. So.
Okay.
Oh, we're starting tonight? Are you sure?
Oh yeah.
That was a couple hours ago. I thought that was a couple sessions ago.
If you haven't noticed that I'm being harsher in my storytelling tonight than usual, then I guess I need to be harsher because you didn't notice.
Oh, I helped.
You have.
Buddy.
It's a horror game. It's to be expected.
So I'm going to ask you guys to make coordination, and I am going to ask you to make. I will accept either wit, or I will also actually accept composure, because this shit is so insane. So I will accept coordination wit or coordination composure with an aptitude upgrade in navigation to try to find your way to the biolabs.
Coordination. You said navigation is upgrade?
Navigation is the upgrade, yeah.
Nice.
Well, I didn't get nothing.
Complicated success, that's fine.
I have to upgrade my dice. There we go. I was having problems with the buttons again.
That's okay. I love roll, but yeah, it would be easier to play on a tablet with a stylus.
I'm getting to where I'm comfortable and kind of know where all my things are and what to click, but every once in a while, like just because some of the buttons are a little small, like oh Jesus.
That was a lot of distress die.
Yeah, but you
It's a lot of
still
ones too.
barely managed to squeak it through. Oh wow. Ooh, almost had you. Okay, so you guys are able to find your way down there. Dr. Dundston, you think you're going the right way, but you're getting pretty anxious about it because everything is so black. So you start sort of like glancing around, trying to figure out like where are any landmarks at all down here, and you sort of start figuring out landmarks just based on junctions. And at one point, you go to shine your wrist light down a hallway, and you shine it right onto a metal sign, and you see a reflection of your face. Yeah. How about them complicated successes? You guys managed to get to the biolab. And it is dark, and it is hot. There's sort of a red outlight that is coming from somewhere inside. You are able to see well enough that you can put your wrist lights away.
What is the state of the equipment in the lab? Like, is it anything that's still intact that could be used for examination?
So interestingly enough, though the cords are coming into the biolab, they're not coating everything like they are in the hall. They're just attached to certain things. But the sampler, the thing that you would have to put this creature into to get like its elemental breakdown, there's nothing on it. It's completely clean.
Suspicious. Very suspicious.
So the slime thing, but was it alive in the last iteration? Is it alive now?
It doesn't. Well, you probably would have to poke it to see if it moves, but it hasn't moved for a while.
Okay, well we're gonna take the trash can and we're gonna dump it out on like if there's any kind of sterile surfaces that are left in this room.
There are 1000% not anything close to sterile surfaces in this room, but there are table spaces that you can use to work.
Okay, we're gonna use those instead then. Next best thing.
You dump it out, and when you dump it out, it reacts. It very languidly. It's clearly not healthy, but it is still alive. Ish.
Is there any thing I could pick up of its like biological operations now while it's still alive, or is it best just to scalpel
Excellent
it?
question. Go ahead and make that is going to be an acumen and wit and upgrade with your science. And I believe you have marine biology, so you also get the specialization bonus.
Okay, acumen, and keep my upgrade to the wit.
Yep.
So that will actually roll much faster this time. And oh,
Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got a phenomenal success. So you're finally in your element. Like, this shit has been not you, But this moment, even in this terrible, filthy lab with only red auxiliary light to light you, you're still like, you know what? Time to put the calculator on. This is what I do. And you dive into the inner workings of this creature. And the best that you can come up with is that this is a single cell organism. Yep, it's the size of a football, but it is a single cell organism. You can actually point out the infrastructure of the cell. That is what it is, which is not that shocking. There are, in the normal world, cells as big as softballs. There are certain algae, there are single cell organisms that are the size of softballs. That's not that shocking. What is most incredibly immediately shocking to you is that there is no environment that you're aware of on this planet that would have allowed something like this to evolve. And B, as you're sort of pondering and peeling, there is another organism inside the nucleus of this thing, an entirely different organism. Kind of like where a mitochondria should be. I'm sorry, so it's not in the nucleus, it's outside of the nucleus. It's where the mitochondria should be.
Okay. So where you expect the organelles to be that or mitochondria, instead it's just a whole. There are multiple mitochondria in a cell, but is there just one?
One of them is
organisms?
different, and when you look closely at it, it is a fish. It is a very small, translucent, very clearly deep sea fish.
This cell has a living, breathing fish in it. Well,
Yeah.
maybe not breathing.
It's breathing.
It's breathing.
That's fine. That's fine.
This. Well, we don't
Hey.
know why this is happening, but I'm quite excited to find out. And so, is the DNA read on this thing just a regular fish?
So you turn the machine on, and a couple of things happen. The first thing that happens is that all of your data starts to read. It starts to read. You have to kind of brush some of this material away from the screens to be able to make it out. But it is reading that there are several different DNA signatures inside of this thing. In fact, it is not reading it as one organism at all. It's reading it as about 12 different organisms. And you clearly see a very specific breed of coral fish that matches the general shape of the one that you saw in it, sort of at the bottom of the coral reef, the deepest that fish still exist in the coral reef. This is one of those, and it does exist on Earth. The second thing that happens is that a whole lot of light comes into the room. The light from all of these monitors, the light from the bioreader. And when it does, several of these skittery creatures come in, and they don't look pleased. We're going to pause you right there. Go ahead and roll your initiatives and get ready. Back to the moon pool. All right, guys. So you have repaired the drawer. You've gotten it open, and you've got the tools to repair the suit.
Okay, if I do this just for the wasp, it might take me a while. I haven't even looked at the SIRS yet. From what I can tell, does it look like the SIRS has moved at all since it's been like anchored back up? Does it have any visible outward wear and tear? Just kind of at a glance.
Well, so you can't really see the SIRS from here. You could look at the digital displays.
Is it so? It's not pulled up into the.
No, it's not inside the moon pool. It's connected through a hatch to the outside.
Okay. I always took that it came up in the thing. I didn't realize that. Then yeah, I'll take that time to kind of boot up those screens and get a look at it.
It's not there.
Fuck. Well, I'll just have to find it then.
There should be a way for you to call up the information on where the SIRS currently is.
Mm-hmm. There's not, is there?
You can see that it is something like 650 miles to the east and 4,200 feet above you.
so it's above the surface, like it's out and gone.
Or it's on the surface and things have changed.
I don't like that answer either, James. I don't. You need
I'm not here to
try a
give you
third
answers.
answer. So he'll kind of read over that data and he'll pale just a little bit and then sigh. All right. Well, Dr. Sharpe, this is probably going to take me a little bit of time. Is there anything you need to do? Anything you want to work on? I don't want to keep you. I appreciate your presence here because this has not been a good trip so far, but I don't want to hold you up from any work you're trying to do.
All things considered, since you are the one like maintaining the mechanics of this place and currently trying to repair things, I think I should stick with you to make sure nothing happens to you, if I can help
appreciate
it.
that personally. When
I
we find Dr. Walton again, I'm sure he'll be able to help the other two out as well. I hope everything's going well with them. Actually, and he'll kind of at that moment try to pull up Dr. Dundston, Dr. Wheeler on comms.
Okay, so why don't we do this way? You pull them up on comms, and you. So I will allow you guys let's say one 10-second window in character where Dr. Dundston and Dr. Wheeler get to react to what they just saw, and then we'll go into what's going on down there.
The organism is completely anomalous. It is a chimera of at least 12 different other organisms. One of them is just a normal fish, but it is mostly just something I've never seen before in my life. And please make sure that these findings are noted down in case my infection kills me. This is very exciting news.
Okay. I'm glad you found something. I've got a lot of bad news in here, but I do have some good news. We can work the wasp. But it's just the wasp. The SIRS is missing.
The
Hey,
fuck?
what is that I see on the screen behind y'all?
And you guys turn around and you see them now. There are about 5 of these things. And there's not about 5 of them. There are 5 of them. And they
The fuck
are
again?
headed towards the containment unit. And you guys already rolled your initiatives. So let's
It was
get
0.
0's fine, man. Let's see how they're not incredibly powerful creatures themselves. Just give me this so I don't want to need Hershey. I just need dice. Here we go. So let me roll theirs real quick. I will leave it up to you. Would you guys prefer me to do separate initiatives for each of them, or have them all go on the same initiative?
Whichever makes the most narrative sense.
Just a little quicker in combat if they all go on the same initiative.
Yeah, go for ease of combat.
Okay,
Same
they also
initiative.
got 0, and players always go first.
Okay.
Dr. Dunstan, what did you get?
0.
Okay, so Dr. Dunstan and Dr. Wheeler, who has the higher coordination?
Mine's 3.
You got it then.
All right, Dr. Wheeler, you will be going first.
Being coordinated is an excellent fantasy trait for a role-playing game. I love it.
Okay. So you see them. They're coming. They're going to try to pull open the bio container and get this thing out.
I sent you a thing, Kat. I don't know if you saw.
Okay. I think I'm just gonna try to throw some of my, if there's any scaffolds that I am done with, I'm gonna throw it at them and try to pop them. That way they stop, trying to destroy our stuff.
That is going to be we're going to call that coordination and toughness with an upgrade for as close as you are. Well, no, that's marksmanship. That's purely marksmanship.
Don't have that.
Oh, no.
That's fine.
Let's see if they have a dodge roll.
She's coordinated and tough, so I'm already getting 6 dice from that.
Oh, whoever gifted me a sub, thank you for the sub. Sorry.
You're good. This is not role playing, so it's a good time to make that comment. Very good time.
Yeah, same. I think we got sub bombed by somebody in the chat, so thank you guys very much.
Hey.
Buttons.
I think I'm gonna re-roll one of these.
Button. And that button.
That did not work. That did not work either. I will do 3 seconds. 4. Okay, there we go. 2 successes.
Get to that midnight hour. You can
Yeah,
do
I mean,
it.
Oh Lord.
We're all going to be hour 3 here by the end of the session, or hour 4. It's going to be.
I
A party.
mean, she's only been pinned once, so she's actually doing okay. I'm only having. Oh, I should not tell the GM that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not doing okay.
When we meet up again, I will use Soothe on you if you're still standing,
Oh no.
and if Wheeler is still standing.
Who is Alex Morning Kills? They said they were a fan of me. I have no idea who they are, and they sub bombed us. It's it's Jeff. Okay, right on. All right. So, how many hits did you say you had?
I rerolled until I went from 1 to 2.
I had an extremely unfortunate 4 successes on my 5 dice.
Oh, okay. Well, glad I tried to make it less bad, but wow. Okay.
So you wing the scalpel that you're holding at this thing to try to scare it off, and not only do you not scare it off, but it immediately turns around and raises its sort of these sharp tines that it has at you. And now it's Dr. Dunstan's turn.
Smash a spider-looking monster thingy that's
Right on.
nearest.
That will be a strength and toughness with an upgrade in weapon. Oh, that's right, hand to hand, because you're a martial artist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And your specialization applies.
You finally get to use it. I'm so proud that it finally came up.
Oh, it's been coming up like crazy.
I gotta use my science too. It's a good round for narrative agency.
Okay. Boom shakalaka. What I get? I'm rolling goose eggs tonight, guys.
Oh no.
Just
Do you wanna-
goose eggs. Nothing but goose eggs. I mean, what
Goose eggs,
is
oh,
that
no.
like?
Do
Is
you wanna
that like
spend a
a
second to-
turkey egg if you roll 3 gutter balls in a row?
Ooh.
I mean,
Are
I
you-
got a
you-
trophy for the
are you
most
gonna
gutter
burn-
balls when I was a kid, but I don't remember if we had a name for
You
what I did. It was just that I sucked.
Are you burning minutes or you're keeping that?
So you slash, or you do your martial arts at this
Keeping
thing,
it.
and it's a function of the way that light is playing in this room. You know, you're a martial arts master, but you're not a master at fighting in weird flashing lights and red light and all this, and you just sort of misjudge the distance that you are from it, and you kind of hit it, but definitely you can feel not enough to do anything. And it turns around and it responds. And it is now all of their turns. So the way that we're going to do this, because there's so many of them, is I'm going to have 2 of them attack Dr. Dundston because she's the closest to them. And so if you will make your coordination and either reaction or vigilance, or no, you know that they're there. So your coordination and reaction with an upgrade for athletics.
Excuse me.
All right. I got 2 successes finally.
All right, that one misses you. You want to roll it again real quick?
And that's 1 success.
That one actually applies its base damage, which is 1. You feel that sort of sting that everybody, I don't know if you've gotten hit by one of these things yet, but you have now. And you just feel a sting traveling up your arm where it tagged you. It does 1 damage.
Fun.
The other two two more of them are going to attack Dr. Wheeler. So Dr. Wheeler, you can make your coordination and reaction with an upgrade for athletics.
So, with me being a vector and us deciding it was body fluids,
Ooh.
do I infect it because it decided that it wanted to tangle with a
I'm going to
diseased
say
martial
no.
artist?
I'm going to say no because I don't want a challenge to turn into a perk.
Okay.
Maybe you just
Good question,
maybe
Hey,
if-
man, we were actually told in high school in an assault prevention class, tell them that you have an STI.
Yeah, and then get your blood in their eye. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I remember that. Oh my god.
yeah. Yep.
Tell
Or
'em you got
tell them
real
that you
weird
have to
ones.
pee because who wants to be peed on while they're assaulting someone? Except for,
They usually do the other way around.
that's usually consensual.
Oh no.
Sorry,
Dr.
guys.
Wheeler, what did you roll on your dodge roll, Dr. Wheeler?
net 3.
Oh, thank God. So I only got 1. So you take 2 damage as you are hit again by one of these things, and now the other one is going to attack you.
Okay, down to 7. So I re-roll that, and we see if it's gonna.
Yep.
Yay! I got 3.
Okay, cool. This one does not hit you, but it definitely swings. The 5th one is trying to pry open the lid to free this other one that is now moving quite a lot. We are going to now, I know this is in the middle of combat, but we're going to go back to the moon pool. So you guys see this fight start, and you see, or I'm sorry, you don't see anything. You hear the fight start, and you hear this all playing out. How are you reacting?
We go help.
Yeah, there'll be a bit of a panic of, oh shit, and he'll grab the wrench and start
Okay.
getting in motion.
Yep,
Okay.
we. I'm with them. I'm with them.
Watching my step. I remember what happened last time I was here.
Okay, excellent. So you guys start running down there. You know it's going to take you a decent amount of time to get there, but you got to try.
Yeah.
So you rush down that way. Now it is Dr. Wheeler's turn again.
Okay. So the ones that are the one that just got me, how close is it to me?
It's pretty close. It's sort of up on the counter right near you.
Okay, so it's like is there anything heavier I can throw at it?
Yeah, there's all kinds of crap on the counter you can throw at it.
Okay, so if like gonna throw a heavier piece of equipment to make it slightly harder for it to like dodge.
Okay, sure. Go
So-
ahead and make your roll.
Is that coordination again?
That is going to be coordination and toughness with an upgrade for athletics, or I'm sorry, not athletics, for marksmanship.
Yep. Okay. It looks like I got 1 success.
Okay. Let me make my roll.
Oh,
Oh,
one
right,
of my
'cause
distracts
the-
I did not take. I must roll that to make sure it goes through.
Okay.
I did click it twice. Okay, so that would not have subtracted from it. We're good.
So you sort of ding this mug or whatever it is off this thing's dome, and it very clearly doesn't kill it. It doesn't even really look like it hurts it. But the moment that you bounce it off its head, it runs away. It just skitters across to the other side of the room. It does not appear to be used to getting hit with things.
Yay.
Now, Dr. Dundston.
Smash.
All right, bring it.
Hmm.
Do you need me to tell you the roll?
Let's see. That's great. I am going to ignore my distress die and take my singular success.
All right, so it also got 1 success, but that means that you apply your base damage. I believe your base damage is 2, and you squish it. It is crushed. Now that means that there are 2 of them still in play. Well, one of them, there's 3. One of them is going to actually pull open part of the biocontainer, not enough to let this thing out, but enough to break the biocontainer so all the readings stop. And then
Oh,
the other 2 are going to, one of them is going to attack Dr. Wheeler, one is going to attack Dr. Dundston. So Dr. Wheeler, I'm going to make you make the coordination and reaction roll first.
coordination, reaction. I'm not sure what's going on with roll, but I keep having to add my second dice manually, even though my Minotaur set to 4.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of trouble with the rolling mechanic tonight too.
I did roll very well on that though, just because of her aptitude, so that came up with 3 successes.
Okay, cool. You're able to easily skirt out of the way of this thing's attack. And then Dr. Dundston, make your coordination and reaction roll.
I don't want that. So 6 more seconds it is. God. I already had a bad enough day at work. Game, why you gotta do this? So yeah, 1 success.
So it does apply its base damage again and hits you for 1 more damage. And again, that intense stinging feeling. All right. I assume other group, you're still headed down there trying to get to them.
Trying.
All
Would you
right.
like a navigation roll for us to not get lost?
I'm not going to be that big of a dick yet because
Okay.
they're in the middle of combat. But I've got some other stuff coming your way in a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So Dr. Wheeler, you gonna chuck something again?
Yep. That's
Bring it.
gonna try to be the one that's closest to me.
Okay.
So, trust the stress. What was the second part? Toughness?
Yeah, toughness. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that is still 3 successes. None of the distress die came up once, so it is.
Okay. Yeah. So you got 2 nuts. So I'm gonna give you 2. So yeah, you beat it in the top of the head with a wrench that you had laying there, and it immediately squishes and stops moving. Were you aiming at the one trying to attack you, or the one trying to tear open the thing?
But whichever one was closest.
Okay, I'm gonna say, for the sake of it's a better idea for you, that you were aiming at the one trying to tear open the thing.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense because like that's her scientist she's doing.
Okay.
How dare it?
All right. You hit it. It squishes and it's dead. Can I ask you guys to give me one? Actually, it's 10:25. Let me run through there. I'm actually going to say, unless you guys don't, do you want to run all the way through combat, or are you okay if I narratively in combat now?
Okay.
I'm good with that.
All right. So you killed this other one. That's the one that was trying to tear open the thing. All the other ones just skitter back to where they came from. It is 10:25. I need to run and do the break a little bit early, if you guys don't mind. So this will be our midpoint break. Can we all be back and ready to rock at 10:40?
Yeah. 15
Yeah.
minutes is fine.
Rock on. Thank you guys so much. We are going to see you guys all at 10:40. Hey everybody, welcome back to Midnight Mondays on the Compound with the Nat 30s. I'm James Davey, the creator of the Midnight World, and we are kicking right back off where we left off. So the the translucent, spidery creatures sort of dive out of the room. They clearly have realized they can't beat you guys, and you start to hear these heavy thumping noises coming down the hall towards you.
Well, I think reinforcements are on their way.
That wasn't the conclusion I hoped you were going to draw, but you did. So yeah, a few minutes later, Dr. Sigmundsen and Dr. Sharpe barrel into the room, ready to assist you.
Dr. Sigmundsen will come in and as ready with like wrench up in one hand and then like kind of hand out in the other, looking around to see if there's anything, kind of checking the corners and walls as he runs in.
You did. Oh, that is a huge fucking spider. Jesus Christ. Yeah, must have heard me talking about them. You definitely see these things, and there are several of them, probably north of 20 of them, sort of congregated on the walls outside of this doorway, but they're not going in.
Mm-hmm. And they don't try to bar us or get in our way.
They don't
kind of
seem to
scatters
even,
as we run up.
They seem to be paying zero attention to you at all.
Okay. Dr. Dundston, Dr. Wheeler, you guys okay? And he'll kind of like take stock and see fresh wounds.
Not exactly.
I
We
hear
squished them
someone's
first,
dog.
Sorry, Evie, stop breathing in the mic. You were.
No, you're good. I just wanted to make sure that wasn't like a. Oh.
No, that's
So
an asthmatic dog, not me. I'm okay. I mean, I'm breathing fine now.
Okay.
Excitement.
Yeah, I got poked a couple of times. Probably gonna look like Chloe over here. But hey, now I can finally get a timeline on that.
Oh. Anything for science, right?
Right. And as he looks up from that, he'll realize the damage to the specimen container and be like, "Oh shit." Okay, I guess Dr. Sharpe, can you see if you can help them out, and I'll see if I can get this scanner back online.
Sounds great. Can I use what knowledge I have in anatomy to try and like patch them up with an emergency kit nearby?
Yeah, absolutely. So you probably won't be able to do much by way of like healing their wounds, but you could at the very least try to take a look at what this infection is. I just would want you to we're going to call this an acumen and wit, and you can upgrade if you have medicine.
I only have science anatomy.
You know what? I'm going to give you the upgrade, but not the specialization. I'm basically going to say that the upgrade and the specialization together will function as a good enough substitute for the other aptitude.
Sounds great. I was hoping that would be your answer. All right.
Thank you, Jeff. Got to get me so fired up I take my hat off. All right.
I'm gonna spend some time to try and re-roll a couple of these.
Right on.
How do I roll a dice individually, or is it just, do I just clear it and then add another one?
Yeah, you just clear it and add the one.
Oh, I can just click it. Okay.
Yeah, I think you can just click it.
I'm actually gonna try and re-roll a couple of these. How many seconds is it per re-roll again? With max at what? I can't remember.
So you can spend 1 second for a reroll of any die that didn't hit, 2 seconds to add an additional D8. Now, I will tell you, generally speaking, if you haven't spent any seconds yet, the best way to do it is just don't reroll. Just add, or unless you have D8s that you want to reroll, just add the D8s with the 2.
Yeah.
Or you can spend 6 seconds to completely ignore all the stress dice on your roll, and you can spend up to 6 seconds a turn.
Okay. That's important information. So I'm going to re-roll this D8. Still nothing. I'm going to add another D8. Come on. Nope. All right. It's and then what was the success? Anything above a 6?
Anything above 5 or
Anything
above.
above. Okay, so 2 successes.
Right on. So it's actually because it's anatomy, because you're looking anatomically instead of medically, you're able to spot that immediately these veins that are stretching up the arm do not follow the pattern of anatomical circulatory system. These aren't darkening of the veins underneath the skin. These are new veins that are being created. And you can tell that they are only about, I'm sorry, we did not do trigger. I did not do trigger warnings at the beginning of this game. Added to everything else, thalassophobia, fear of the dark, claustrophobia, there's some body horror in this episode. So keep that in mind. My apologies.
I did trigger the content warning for the chat earlier. I'll
Thank you.
refresh
I
it here
forgot to
shortly.
add body horror to that. So these are only about maybe 2 millimeters deep, and they're contiguous. You could probably, if you so wish to do it, either remove them surgically or even just grab them and rip them all out.
So these are in the dermis, and they're new.
Yes.
Okay. I kind of look up. So, good news. These tendrils that you're experiencing, they aren't your veins. They are essentially a new set of veins. About in your dermis. So, but since it's not your veins, we can get them out. Who would like to volunteer for minor surgery?
Me first.
Okay.
Mine are smaller, so Chloe, I'm gonna go first so I can help hold you down.
Oh, we're
'Cause
gonna
I don't
do
imagine that 6-inch one is gonna feel good coming out.
Dr. Sigmundsen from over in the side where he's trying to get an eye on this biocontainment unit, see what he can do to fix it. Just kind of looks up and goes, "Well, that tracks with what we learned last time about things that make contact with this getting enveloped or overgrown with this substance." God, I need a drink.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
point. It's been a while. Go ahead and add a minute.
Okay.
Thanks for reminding me. You're doing great today, by the way.
I know how you run these games, James. I'm trying to make sure I'm your AST.
just curious, how large is the lab?
The lab is it's decently sized. I mean, all of you guys are in here, and you've still got plenty of room to move around. I would say it's probably 20 by 30.
Okay. So I don't feel crowded. All right. So, well, yeah, I'm gonna look around and I'm gonna see if there's anything like local anesthetic and a scalpel.
There is a bottle of lidocaine and subcutaneous needle. You sort of take a look at the packaging of the needle. It's got that very slightly tan tinge to it, so it's probably okay, but it's clearly aged a bit, so it may not be sterile. You basically, in normal circumstances, you would never use this on a person. These are not normal circumstances.
As long as it's sealed and as long as there's like no type of like visible contaminant in the needle package, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna turn to everybody and say, just so you know, none of these tools may be sterile, and I don't seem to have a feasible way of sterilizing them. Do you still consent to this? I'm just asking. Like, Chloe, are we still good to do the surgery? Okay. I don't think we can hear you. Oh no.
Yeah, roll keeps, I think, it keeps knocking you out.
Okay. Well, she's figuring that out.
And Dr. Sharpe, you've got an auto success for this one.
Yay! Auto success for surgery.
Okay.
There we go.
There you are.
That's good. Am I back?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. I think these growths were more likely to kill me than whatever bacteria would have infected this place just ambiently. So I consent to this procedure.
Okay. I'm very glad that I have your verbal consent.
Do we need to sign a waiver?
There is no time for waivers. Please lie back on the table. And I start preparing small applications of lidocaine to go in the major nerve clusters around where these black tendrils are.
So I would like you to make a coordination and wit roll. You may upgrade with. I again will allow the science and anatomy together.
Nope, not that.
How do the gifted auto successes work? Is it just one extra hit, or is it?
The one auto hit.
Okay.
Okay, and then I have. Okay, so that's. What is that noise?
It's not my mic.
Is my dog snoring in the microphone? Is it actually picking that
No,
up?
It sounds like a problem with the actual audio, like a connection or something. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or like something got pulled partially out of socket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if everybody will mute your mic and unmute it, it should be able to determine.
Yeah, it's Pixie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guess my microphone is being terrible.
Do you want to check its connection just to see if it's plugged in fully and everything? Because it might have gotten like halfway pulled out.
Okay, I'm gonna turn off my microphone and then replug everything again like I did when I lost the deal the first time.
I'm sorry.
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 No, just I'm angry at the microphone for not cooperating with this horror game.
Fair. I don't know. It adds a little bit of ambiance, but okay. So I have 2 successes.
Okay. You're able to get in there and sort of grab it, and you're able to pull it out, and you're being as delicate as you can afford to be.
I was gonna use the scalpula and cut into the skin and fish it out a little bit at a time.
Okay.
Not full on.
Yeah, I didn't figure you were okay.
Starting the lawnmower here.
So you do get it in there, and you are able to get it out. It does hurt, but Dr. Sharpe's hands are steady, and she's able to do this without causing you any further harm. But she does, as she pulls it out, these veins, for lack of a better term, come out, and she sort of got them, and as she goes to drop them in the biocontainer, they wrap up and wrap around her hand. They don't do anything, they just wrap around her hand.
Oh. Oh, you're beautiful.
In the
I was-
corner, in the corner, Sigmundsen's like work, and just hears that and just goes like, "Nope, not going to address that."
The microphone should. Sorry, the microscope should still be working. If you want to take a look at them.
Yeah, I do. And I slowly like go over to the microphone, not making any sudden movements, and like pass my hand to the microphone and start like zeroing in on it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jeff. Alex Morningkill just did another sub bomb.
Oh my gosh.
Great. Thank you so much. And guys, again, I hate to take a pause here, but because he's done two subscription bombs for us, I just want to point out that Jeff has an amazing game that they just fulfilled their Kickstarter orders. It's called Mora, Morra. There's a link for it in chat. You gotta check it out. If you have ever wanted to role play inside of your favorite movie, that is how to do it. So let's get back into the action. I'm going to plug you again at the end of the stream. But so you're just sort of like looking at this thing, and it's sort of playfully prodding your hand. It's not hurting you. It's just sort of prodding you. And what are you doing? Like, are you trying to disrupt it in any way, or are you just observing it?
I'm just observing it and like trying to look at its like cellular structure, the outer cellular structure on the microscope.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you to make a roll using acumen and wit with an upgrade in science, and the specialization would be marine biology.
Okay, I do not have that specialization, but
It's marine biology.
that's 2 successes.
Okay. You definitely see that the structure, sort of these, where you would expect to see in any sort of an animal, you'd expect to see a cell membrane. At first you think this must be a plant because you think this is a cell wall, not a cell membrane. But the more that you really look at it, this is an entirely different structure. The membrane or wall of this cell is made of something else entirely that is not. It's not anything that you immediately recognize. However, Dr. Wheeler, you're looking at this too, or you're sort of seeing it up on the display. It's coral. The cell's wall is made of coral.
Oh, also question. Would the process of having my arm like restrained for surgery give me a minute of a...
Oh, 100%. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for your honesty. Yes. I would like to reward you, and I will reward you with a minute.
Not the positive reinforcement we were counting on there.
I don't care.
It's fine.
Your delivery of that. The delivery of that. That got me. Okay, if I have 5 minutes, am I rolling through the stress die now?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it
Wonderful.
was every even. Isn't it 2, 4, 6?
Yeah. So if you have 5 minutes, you're rolling 2 distress dice.
Still 2. Okay, so I have to go up to 6 minutes before I'm taking 3 distress.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll be with me. It'll be great. We can be friends.
Party of pain. I mean, if we meet, like, are you at 6 minutes already?
Hmm.
I can just straight up go there if I notice that you're like freaking out too. You want me to use Soothe? Because we can do it. We can just trade.
I'll let the scene play out here, and we'll go from there.
Those veins are super horrifying, though. Like I braced myself for the fear of deep water, which was intense this session. The medical horror. Oh my goodness.
Fair.
So we do have a quick interjection here for the chat. We are doing a quick exclusive enamel pin giveaway from PAX East. It's 12 of 5,000.
Oh wow.
Oh
So
wow.
that is pretty damn exclusive. All you got to do is type exclamation point ticket to be entered. And that's all thanks to Jeff. Thanks, Jeff.
Do we have what the pin looks like for the audience?
Google it. I don't know. I don't know what
Okay.
to tell you.
That works.
And as for normal, thank you so much, Jeff. I'm going to sit this one out. And you guys win. Win some fun stuff.
Win stuff.
All right. So as that is playing out, do you want to extend this to other people in the group, or are you just getting Dr. Wheeler's veins out?
I mean, first of all, I need to like figure out how to get this off me first. So,
Good point.
what exactly is it just air in the containment?
So in the biocontainer, it's pressurized salt water, and it's pressurized to the depth that the E-Cars is currently at.
Okay. So
Just thinking of like how a caterpillar, if you pick one up and you have it like rock on your hand and you try not to drop it, you're doing that with some horrifying eldritch veins.
yeah,
Flick it like a booger.
I don't think I can do that because it's wrapped around my hand.
You never had one of those boogers that wraps around?
Jesus Christ.
You can flick it a couple of times and it'll eventually come off.
But this is like a living thing, clearly. Like,
You've never had those boogers that were living things?
Yeah, they're called kids. You just
Oh.
come off.
oh my god.
Until I pointed at my dog, this little booger.
Sorry, no, I love all the kids in my life, all 20 something of them.
Okay.
All right. So have you made a decision about what you're doing? You're not flicking it like a booger, right?
No, I'm really not. Oh my gosh, no, I'm really not.
I had sent you a thing, James, if you saw.
Oh, I didn't. Let me look.
Oh, you said that you sent me something, but like I never found it. Where did you?
I had sent a message to Kat earlier.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my character's name is technically. I was so confused.
That won't get confusing at all.
Oh, yeah, no, I realized that like there's somebody
Not at all.
in this server who's Wheeler, and my character's name is Dr. Wheeler, and I realized that like retroactively would be super confusing, and I apologize. Because I try not to do that, but I'm just like, these names pair well together, we'll do that.
If you haven't been on Playroll yet, there's a little chat box in the bottom right, and you can choose who you send messages to, and it does a little exclamation point, but there's so much on screen that sometimes it can be hard to
It's
see.
a little like one of the suggestions I'm going to give them is it is a little hard to see those. All right, so
Okay, I'm just gonna. I'm gonna. Do we? I'm gonna try and like gently
Tweezers?
No,
Forceps. Forceps.
I'm gonna go towards the bio container because it's still like open, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna gently try and like from wrist to fingertip just put it in the bio container and see if I can like just slide it off of me, like very slowly.
It doesn't try to stop you. You slide it off. You can feel like as it comes down to the tips of your fingers, it tries to wrap around. It doesn't have the strength to hold on to you, so you're able to slide it into the bio container.
Okay. Okay. Elizah, Dr. Dr. Dundston. Your
Yep.
turn. So as I examine her, do I see like the same thing, like roughly still in the dermis, new organism, thing like that? Or new structure forming?
No, once you get it out, it's gone.
Oh, I meant like, do I see the same thing as far as her condition?
Oh, in hers, yes, same thing. These veins that are sort of blue and red and spreading up, not a part of her circulatory system.
Okay.
Ah, that was quick.
Yep. And
Unless I got something from the blood from getting sliced.
Oh, I'm wearing gloves.
Then-
I'm wearing gloves, by the way. Like
It is much shorter. It has clearly had time to, or had not as much time to grow.
Yeah. Cool.
It's unique species of parasitoid. We should sample the ones that came out of Dr. Dundston.
You know what? Fair. So I'll just grab some forceps and take the new one and put it under the microscope, see if the cellular structure is the same.
And I'm not going to make you make rolls to remove them from everybody. Again, you sort of got it through the first time you figured it out. And they're all the same thing. But again, what they are is an unfortunate amalgam of things that shouldn't be together.
Just to confirm, does that include her getting the one out of my leg? Because that's the oldest one we've had.
That one is going to require a little bit more because that one is apparently older. As you pull up your pants leg, it's apparently older than you even realized. It is all the way up your leg and into the lower part of your torso now.
Oh, this is great.
I'm
He's just going to look like, oh, of course.
So this one is going to, I'm going to like use whatever lidocaine I have left to try and like ease this process for him. But it's the same slow, steady process trying to get as many as I can out, make sure there are no like nodes forming. It's just the tendrils. So like, okay, we're good. We're great. This is fine.
I'm not going to make you make rolls,
Yeah.
but I am going to, because of just how progressed this one is, I am going to ask that both Dr. Sigmundsen and Dr. Sharpe add a minute to their midnight clock as Dr.
I'm deeply disturbed.
Yeah, and also you understand human anatomy. Are you a physician though?
I am a scientist.
So you're cutting into a human body of a still living human, and it's terrifying. And Dr. Sigmundsen, you don't feel pain, but you're watching your leg being cut open, and it bothers you enough that it causes that minute ad. Dr. Dundston, did you end up joining a cult?
We are not a cult. Thank you very much. We're a movement.
You're a stalker. Okay. I wrote that and it annoys me. Okay. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Thanks.
So actually I had as I get Sigmundsen's out, I'm gonna kind of like poke the organism, and ask with Janus gaze, how old are you?
Okay.
How old is this?
So add the minute to your midnight clock.
Yep.
And you get the chronological answer to your question does not make sense to you. It is.
Uh-oh.
Whoa,
We lost our DM.
it's that old, huh?
Anya!
Now I have to wait for them to get back for me to make my pun.
I had to like very quickly like run through the whole in my head. Do I know anything specifically that kills coral? And if I could, since I couldn't like come up with
Sunscreen.
anything,
Coral
zinc,
bleaching makes me sad.
zinc oxide would actually have done it. Yeah, but I didn't think of it. This is way better narratively.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know if it's just coral. There's other things going on as well. So like, you
Oh,
could have
there's
like
definitely other things going
like
on
you
as
could
well.
have like killed the outside of it and then made it harder to extract. So like, what you did probably it works best for the body, keeping the body horror contained.
Yeah, seriously, let's not let's not make that any worse than
Let's
they
not
have.
make it any worse than it already is. Like, improvise an ice pack. Oh, we gotta get in. I'm going to the
So.
desert. Oh. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have news now. Hey!
So that was so weird. I could seem to hear you guys saying you couldn't hear me. I don't know what was going on.
You were gone. Now you're back.
Now I'm back.
Oh no,
Okay.
you heard me threatening to make a pun. Still gonna do it.
So, sorry. You can tell that this thing is probably no more than about 3 years old. But you don't just get, like, the answer to a Janus Gaze question is not just this exact chronological moment. It's a sort of vision that you see around everything. And what you see is that the surroundings of this thing are completely unfamiliar to you. It is the ocean. It is deep within the ocean, but there is, you're a scientist, and there is life all around the formation of this thing that does not make sense by the evolutionary rules of this planet.
Hmm.
As
We've all agreed, right, that this is all very strange.
do you mean the whole
last time
situation,
around.
or you playing with the thing you just pulled out of my leg?
I mean both. We've all agreed that this is very weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
And-
it's novel.
Yeah, that's a word.
I think Dr. Walton would say it's fucked up.
That too.
I believe that. And we've all had this odd experience. I have had an odd experience before this. And let me tell you, this is still stranger. Because what we have in our hand is only a few years old. But, and this is the oldest of the organisms that we currently have as a sample. But there is, where it came from, it's certainly not from our world. It doesn't follow our laws at all. There's nothing that it's ever been able to make has. I'm so befuddled, but honestly, like, if I want to go here, if I can,
Dr.
I
Sigmundsen will
want to
lean
go
forward as
there.
you're saying that and just kind of put his hand on your shoulder and say, the ocean is filled to the brim with things that no one has ever understood. My father's a sailor his whole life and has never understood. I believe that it goes so much farther than I think it does. But if it is anything like what I think you're thinking it is, you do not want to go there.
Fair point. And I put it in the bio container. It's just a moment. She just had a moment of madness. Just like, just
Are we-
pure, like, awe.
Are we good here? Because I really need a break.
Yeah.
Because I don't give a damn about this bio container right now. And if those little squid things come in here again, I might start trying to kill all of them, and it's not going to be a good time for anybody. And I would really like to kind of go back to my room for a little bit and just de-stress.
Dr. Wheeler, did you get the pseudocord or whatever it was analyzed?
Were you
Or
guys able to
just
complete your
the
readings?
bio-
Or?
Just the fishy specimen?
At this, out of character, I don't remember right now. Did we run that?
So you put it in the thing, and or you mean the fish that was in the mitochondria of the cell?
No, the black
Oh,
cord-like
The cords that we
structures
took samples
okay,
of.
yeah.
that we
Gotcha.
biopsied.
Sorry, guys. My ADD is in a
You're
Yeah,
place.
no worries.
So you you put it in the biosampler, and it immediately kicked back a whole lot of very weird readings. You know that that's because part of this is inorganic, but you are able to see that the greater part of this is coral, but it is there is some kind of secretion that it is making that is the best that your computer can figure out is that it is some kind of neurotransmitter, and its purpose is not necessarily clear, but this whole thing all up and down its length was secreting this, which does lead you to your next question: did it secrete this in us? Probably.
I'm sure that's fine.
Do we know what, does it kind of map to any known neurotransmitters, or does it have like a completely like unprecedented structure?
So it most closely maps serotonin, but it is not exactly serotonin. It is something like it. It's something like it, but not exactly it.
So the vein, the based on structure, the veins that were pulled out of our bodies and the ones that were on the ship, they were the same.
Yes, they are the same.
Okay.
Just curious, is glutamate also in there? So if we've got pleasure, do we also have like pain?
No, not really.
Okay.
And
So
that's actually that leads you to. I think that it's fair that that leads you to an intuition and wit roll. With I will allow both your science and your anatomy to apply.
Okay. And you said wit, so that's 3d8. I'm gonna try and roll this 2 again. 2 successes.
Okay. So generally speaking, if something is secreting only serotonin, it is doing so in an attempt to get you to do something. By reinforcing specific behavior, it is trying to lead you, to coerce you into repeating a specific behavior.
Interesting. Well, I'll relay this to the group and be like, so we don't know. Does anyone have any idea what it may have been trying to get us to do?
Well, I don't think it got to us to that level, but he'll kind of gesture around to all the cords and cables and all of the little beasties that are maintaining them. I imagine it's to spread the black, as Evelyn would have called it, since all of these things are connected, have the same substance in them. It probably tracks that they have the same neurotransmitter chemicals in them. I mean, that's not really my field, but if this thing is spreading like an infection in the ECARs, it has to be spread by something.
I mean, clearly it's being spread through contact. You know, it's a. Y'all said that y'all were attacked and then, like, injured in some way, and that's how these things got in you, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's my understanding. I mean, so the
It's
That's-
parasitoid.
okay, that makes sense. But what can we get a reading? So, like, was that reading specifically on one of the organisms that was attached to you three, or was it the one attached to the fish?
I think that was the reading from the sample we'd put in, because the biocontainer was broken in the fight, so we haven't been able to get any new readings.
Ah, okay. So this was okay. That makes sense.
Now we might be able to take those if the biocontainer in the med lab is still working. We may be able to do something there, or I might be able to come back and fix this one. But I really do need to go sit down
Yeah.
where I'm not surrounded by these things.
And I'm really glad you're here, Dr. Sharpe. Otherwise, these creatures would have been. Their presence would have all been in vain.
Yes, I'm glad that I've been able to help. Dr. Sigmundsen, let's go ahead.
And when she says in vain, she is pointing to like the spot where you patched her up on her arms, where you ripped out the veins. She's not being subtle about it.
Okay, I understand the pun now.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were choosing to ignore it because it was so bad.
No. Oh no, she's still gonna go. Well,
It's good
I'm
to
glad
know
I
you're
was
still
able to help.
yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. So, it's been. We have new
1 week
information.
since you looked at me.
You did. I did everything I could to hold it back.
Beautiful.
Amazing. Perfect. Good.
From now on, all challenges in the Midnight World are resolved with bare naked ladies lyrics.
Yes.
Right.
Let's.
Oh no, I don't know any of those lyrics.
Oh no.
That's what Google's for. Let's go sit for a bit.
All right. So as you guys step out into the hall, there is this vague internal flicker. For a moment, it feels like you're listening to rock music and stepping out of the sirs onto the aluminum and iron lattice work between the two moon pools. But also you're not. Also, you're right here in this hall walking out. So there's this moment where you vaguely exist in two timelines at the same time. First, everybody take a minute. It's that traumatic.
That was
and uncomfortable.
disorienting.
Super. Second, as you walk forward for the next few moments, I want you to try to keep in mind that your character is seeing and experiencing both of these events at the same time.
I think I'm gonna puke.
Oh boy.
Jerrick will pause for a moment, like as he's trying to walk and struggle with that for a moment. And he's going to try and focus on his surroundings in both settings to see the state of the moon pool room in this split timeline. Does this feel like is this the same moon pool room that we're in? Is it worse? Is it better?
So when you kind of like turn your attention to it and focus on that one, this reality sort of fades away, and you guys will see that momentarily Dr. Sigmundsen sort of fades from one reality and solidifies in the other. And Dr. Sigmundsen, you can see that there are places where the hydrostatic or the hydrophobic gel is starting to bulge, where you're pretty sure it's going to fail soon. There are lights that are out. When you first stepped down here, there were lights in the floors and the walls and the ceiling. Many of them are out, just panels that are dead now. There is the black cables are starting to come into the moon pool on that side of things.
And he'll kind of shake his head and try to clear his focus of it, like, no, I do not want to be here.
And when you say that, everybody experiences him in the moon pool reality vanish. You don't see him there anymore, and he seems much more substantial in the other reality that you're also populating.
And he'll kind of snap out of it and look around.
How'd you do that?
I was just focusing on it. I saw the other room for a moment, and it was there's things going wrong there, and I wanted to see. I was hoping that when we talked to Evelyn that time, she said that the timeline was different for her. I was hoping it would be similar for us, and maybe we would be going back sometimes too. But it seems like we are only going forward over and over and over again, and things keep getting worse. And the next time, we're not going to have a moon pool soon. It's so bad there. We have to figure this out.
Do we know if it's the next time, or could there be other timelines between this and what you are seeing?
I have no idea.
And we really have no idea
So,
how to measure the time in between iterations of the loops.
we can actually, but it requires one more loop.
Well, not to rush it. Let's go see what we can do. I also wanted to try an experiment. I'm going to try and change things now to make it different as we just saw it. I want to see if we can affect that. Can we stash things for ourselves? Can we do something about this?
Okay, so what is priority for our safety as far as continuing to have a moon pool, or have we decided that that is a resource that we are willing to give up in as far as escape options, with the reality that we may simply not have a choice? In like, how far are we willing to risk our safety in the name of science is essentially what I'm asking. And are any means of escape?
I might be able to rig the wasp to take someone to the surface, but it's not guaranteed, and the SIR is gone. Like, it's not attached. Whatever happened in this time loop, it has been either recovered by someone, or maybe someone took it, but something, it's not here. So as it stands right now, one person can get out.
I see.
But I still have to do those repairs on the wasp before we can even do that.
If this spreads this quickly, wherever it goes, it's going to become an invasive species. So we can't leave this. If we let it do its thing, it won't stay in the trench. It's going, based on the patterns that we've been seeing, it is going to become an invasive species. And considering the reactions it's having with humans, it's does not seem to be a mutualistic relationship. We have to do something about this. We can't leave.
Okay, so my next question is, since that is an option, and that means that we may need to do another time loop forward, are we all in agreement that we are risking, and are we all okay with us acknowledging the fact that we are probably not going home?
We passed that coming into this loop, I think.
Okay, I just
This is
wanted
pretty
to
much an only way out is through at this point.
make sure that we were all in agreement, all on the same page, and all in acknowledgement.
Yep.
So let's go back to the moon pool.
All right.
And as we're going,
Sigmundsen,
we're
you
walking.
don't have to be with us for this. You can go lie down.
no, I don't need to lie down. I need my guitar. I need to focus on something I can do with my hands that isn't this place.
Right. You can go do that. You don't have to be here for this.
If it's not distracting, I'd like to do it here.
Yeah, by all means. If you'd like to go grab your guitar and then bring it here, that's fine.
So you're going back to the moon pool in this iteration, not focusing on the
Yeah,
other.
no. Speaking of that, as soon as I hear that all he had to do was focus on one reality or another, I immediately bring my focus fully back to the present. Like,
Okay.
And Wheeler's specifically going to use the grounding exercise where you focus on like 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can smell, like 1 thing you can taste kind of deal. And she's going to be doing this out loud and just trying to walk anyone who's willing to listen through the grounding.
similar
Okay.
steps. Yeah, that's
Right.
generous.
Does anybody go against the grain and focus on the other reality?
I think Elizah would, just to try to see if there's anything she can pick up. Getting
Awesome.
that memory activated.
So when this happens,
Would that be precog? Pre-post?
it's going to be something. So when this happens, Dr. Dundston, you step out on the boardwalk or the gangway between 2 moon pools. There is no rock and roll music playing. It is sort of the slow, almost like a record being played too slow. That doesn't make sense because it's all digital, but that is what the sound is basically. The moon pool is in bad disrepair. There are sections of the hydrophobic gel that are starting to buckle. You're pretty sure that they're going to collapse at any moment, and your friends are gone. Everybody else looks over, and Dr. Dundston is just not with you anymore. So does that change anybody's plans? Or are you going to go to the moon pool anyway?
Jerrick's at a certain level of selfishness at this point. Like, I've got to just check out from this place.
Okay. All right. So you guys go to the moon pool, and what are you doing, Dr. Dundston, alone in this version of the e-cars?
Well, after taking a look around, just gonna sit and quietly reflect on everything I have learned and what I've put into my journal. And that's my solace trigger.
Outstanding. You may take all of your D4s and roll them for me.
Oh,
Oh,
I was hoping.
That's
And
okay. You still remove a minute.
Yep. That's still handy.
And you will have an opportunity to make the roll again because it's going to be a little while, I think, while you're sort of isolated here. The other group, you are able to make it through, and it's clear at this point that the e-cars is starting to fail. nothing so egregious as like a huge jump forward in time, but just the things that were here in this loop when you got here are starting to break down to the point where there are now places where you don't feel like it's safe to be in this area anymore.
Joy.
And you guys make it to the moon pool. And the moon pool is as you remember it from this iteration. What are you doing in here again?
I'm going to put my hand on the, like on like the e-cars itself, so like the ship itself.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask, how old are you?
Oh boy. Really good way of doing that. So obviously add your minutes. The e-cars is so I'm gonna assume that what you asked is when it launched, like what?
Yeah,
like
when
how old is it from there?
when it launched.
The e-cars is 365 years old.
How was this ship new when we started this expedition?
Brand new.
So we're now in like 2400 something because we went down in 2048.
So yeah, I'm gonna relay this information. So everyone, don't panic.
I'm not there. I can't panic.
Yeah, everyone. So don't panic. This ship is now 365 years old. As of this moment in time.
What the actual hell? Where were you finding that?
Remember how I told you that I had an odd experience before this? During the process of getting a doctorate, I studied abroad for a while, and one of my former hobbies was spelunking. And I would often go alone because I don't know, I just like being alone sometimes. And while I was down there, I saw something. And I know it's crazy, okay? But like we've had a lot of crazy things going on recently. But I swear to you, I saw the figure of a man. It couldn't have been a man. It was a figure of a man, and it was like, you remember that old pigment that they said that it was like true black, and it was like that, where it would like you would paint a 3D object with it, and it would you'd look straight at it, and it was like it would cut reality itself. That's what this man looked like. And before I could do anything, before I could reach for anything in my tool belt to defend myself, it opened a portal and vanished into so many red symbols. And ever since, I've been able to get a measure of things by touching it and asking questions. I don't use it often because obviously this isn't a scientific thing, and I really did throw myself into my work to try and figure out what it meant. But now we're here. Now there's a whole bunch of things going on. Everyone we know and love is probably deceased at this point, and now it's time to face the reality. I don't know what that thing was, but I don't know what this is either. And the only thing that I know for sure, 100%, is that this ship is now 365 years old.
Oh no, Sharon's gonna be mad we missed our interview.
So, every single person we ever love back on the surface is dead, right? That's what you're telling me.
That is the most logical conclusion that I currently have, considering that we have no way of actually figuring out if this loop is actually fully temporal, or if it's localized to us, or if it's merely spatial, or if it's spatial and temporal. Like, we have no idea. I have no idea. I really don't. So, like, without any way of contacting the surface, I don't know. But this is all the information that I have right now.
So we're going to go now, while you guys are dealing with that, we're going to go back to Dr. Dundston. Dr. Dundston, you're sitting here, you're in isolation. Are you continuing to try to take solace, or are you doing anything else?
Let's see. I'm gonna take another second for some more solace. Give it another try. And
Okay.
then if that is unsuccessful, I'm not gonna go out wandering, but just within a very small, less than risky circumference, do some physical investigations.
Okay. So I'm going to let you do both. I'm going to say that you take your moment. Go ahead and roll your distress dice again. See if you can get. Yep, and you did. So it's 2 minutes more come off.
Yay!
And then you start to go down, and like, it is clear to you that the E-Cars has been abandoned for a very long time. It's coming apart at the seams. There are places where actually, so when you start to go through the first door, I would ask you to make a coordination and reaction roll. Or actually, let's call it coordination and vigilance. And I will allow you to upgrade it with your hand-to-hand because you're just sort of reacting almost autonomically to what's happening.
Not a D4, a D8. There we go.
Goes up, not down.
Yeah, right?
It's like having disadvantage.
And let's see. Cool. Well,
Your
that's
fingers-
still good.
Excellent. That's a good roll. So you sort of hear it and feel it before you see it. There is a pinhole in one of the gaskets, and you sort of duck underneath it in exactly the right time. You almost walk through it. And as you duck underneath it, you realize that like it slices off some of your hair. It is so pressurized that if you had walked through that, it probably would have decapitated you.
Oh my gosh.
Nice. I was meaning to get a haircut. Okay.
At this point, there's only one part as you sort of walk through. The galley is completely overtaken. The personal room's completely clotted with these thick black organic cables. There's only one part of the E-Cars that seems to be mostly unaffected, and that is the bridge.
Well, that's all paths lead there. Let's go.
All right. You go to the
See
bridge,
what awaits.
and you're looking through the windows, which again is that sort of titanium tungsten metamaterial that is translucent or transparent. You see nothing. There is nothing out there. It is the darkest, most foreboding thing that you can possibly imagine. And for just a moment, looking out into that depthless void, you start to ponder how truly alone you really are. And then you hear a voice, not necessarily in yours. Maybe it's in your ears. It's impossible to tell. Maybe it's just a vibration you're feeling in your bones. And it says, you really are. When you think about being alone, it says, you really are.
Mm.
And you feel something trying to get in you. And I'm going to ask you to make an acumen and metal roll upgraded with centering if you have it. Excellent.
1, 2, 3.
You feel as though something is trying to get into your mind, something that you could almost reach out and touch. And you know that you're probably not going to be able to stop this thing. You can feel it subliminally wiggling its way in. And just when you feel like you're hopeless against it, you just eject it. You just push it out. Almost autonomically, you just shove it back out. And your training tells you that that was a void parasite trying to get in you. As a stalker, you know what these things are, and you know that that's what that was.
Nasty little parasite.
You also know that that's an opportunistic thing, because that's not what's down here. In that distance, in the glow, or in that darkness, you begin to see it glow. The moment you shove that thing out, and you feel it sort of fly metaphysically through the walls and out into that darkness, you see a glow reacting as if it caught it. And then you see this beautiful lattice work of deep blue light spreading through coral so thick it almost looks like a brain. And that's where we're going to hang you for just a second. We're going to go back to the other guys. You're in the moon pool. You're not sure what to do. What's our next step?
Well-
As you kind of finish your thing, Dr. Sigmundsen will say, like, all right, I have something I'll add to that when I get back, but I'm gonna go get my guitar, and yeah, go ahead and do whatever you were gonna do here. I'll be back in a minute. And I know I'm
Honest-
walking off on my own, so I'm gonna take the minute.
Okay, thank you.
Honestly, at this point, I think it may. So, as far as I'm concerned, our next step is to trigger another loop. How do we do that? It seemed like we had an opportunity earlier, but some of us have hung back. Obviously, Dr. Dundston has gone on ahead somehow, which worries me, but we will get to that later. How do we move forward? How do we jump forward? Like, how has it happened for y'all before?
There doesn't seem to be a pattern to it, which I don't even know if the same amount of time from our perception passes before it pushes us through, but that's why we rushed off to the biolab. We didn't want it to steal us away before we had a chance to find out what was going on.
I see.
It's the kind of thing that, like, if this was just a regular phenomenon, we would want to do lots of studies on this and take our time determining the exact nature of it, but for the hundreds of years that seem to have passed with a cycle like this, it's not. We don't have time.
I don't think we'll ever have time. So let's go back then. The very first loop. How did you personally experience it?
That was the one, Pixie, if you don't remember, that was the one that happened kind of right as I had come back up from the water and was flailing around. We barely got me on deck.
Okay, so moment of panic, and then skip forward.
Yeah, things were going wrong, and it felt so sudden the way it brought us forward. We were supposed to be descending, but Evelyn was going out of sync with us. That she was not supposed to move the ship, but then she did.
Okay.
And she moved on without Dr. Sigmundsen. So the first time around that we noticed, things were already going wrong.
Right. So then the second shift. How did we what was going on then?
We were trying to make it to the lab, and then it just took us away.
Okay.
It just it's not a particular place. It might be a particular time, but it's hard to track such things with all the equipment like this.
Okay. All I'm trying to do is figure out if there is a replicable trigger that we can do.
It's not spatial. We
Okay.
know it's not spatial because we've been in different locations when this has happened before.
Okay,
So,
okay. While you're saying it's not spatial, I want you to go ahead and real quick just roll we're going to call this acumen and wit again. Or let's call this acumen and vigilance. And you can upgrade it with science.
Any particular science?
If you have a specialization in geography, that would apply.
I do not.
okay, so it's going to be the vigilance, and I should have 3 distress dice, but it's still set to 1. But add them manually.
Upgraded me with science.
That's not like that, James. Different.
Oh,
upgrade.
wait. Okay. Those were supposed to be D8s. I do have science. I just don't have the specialty.
Right.
I will redo that. Do, and then wit, and then all those just die. Wait, no, wit is something different. That was acumen. 1, 2.
Is this something that I'm rolling as well, since we're having the same conversation and trying to get to the same conclusion?
I'll let you both roll it, especially since I'm pretty sure that's a catastrophic failure. It certainly is.
Okay, I've got 3 successes.
Okay, Okay, so I made that less bad by rolling one of those dice and giving myself another second.
Okay, good
Wait, I have an idea. I have. I mean, for the price of the minutes. I mean, this seems like it's very important information, so I'm gonna. I think my 3rd hour power would help me here. Is this?
Get the power hour.
I'm just trying to get to the section of the rule book.
What is your 3rd hour manifestation?
That is like the double think.
Okay, so that actually it will double the effect of your roll, and if you spend 6 seconds and the minutes required to do that, it would actually give you a phenomenal success because you'd ignore those distress dice.
I already spent a second though, so I can't just ignore the dice. I would have to keep rolling.
Right. Oh no.
But I can do that.
Okay.
So I've only spent 1 second, so I can keep rerolling until something happens. So for that was 2 more seconds. It didn't work. I have 3 more seconds to burn.
So can you not re-roll your distress dice? You can only re-roll your actual dice? Okay.
Correct.
Okay, so that is now that.
So I see a total of 3 hits. You're doubling that to 6. It's reduced by 2. So yeah, you still got it.
Okay, so that worked.
So yeah, so add your minutes because that's painful. But yeah, you literally force your mind. You're like, if chronology can do this to me, I can do it too. And you force your mind to work far more rapidly than it is intended to work. But you are able to crunch a bunch of numbers very quickly and almost mentally make a map. And you've realized it could be spatial. It could be spatial if A, Evelyn has been continuing to walk down this entire time, and B, wherever it is pinned to the ocean floor and not somewhere on the ship. So if you'd imagine some pin on the ocean floor with a column extending infinitely into the sky, if Evelyn has continued to walk down this whole time, then that section has been moving through the ship. And as you look at it, you realize every single time that you've hit a reset, you've done it along the trajectory that would take. You figured it out.
Nice.
She looks from this like distortion of reality she's in. She looks like she's about to faint, but she's like, it's not spatial to us, but it's the ship. We need to stop descending, or we'll get to where Dr. Dundston is now.
Well, that's the goal, isn't it?
And right when you say that, you hear the bulkhead to the bridge seal. And Dr. Sigmundsen, what are you doing?
Evelyn, can you hear me here?
You hear Dr. Erickson's voice.
Mhm.
I can hear you, Dr. Sigmundsen.
Are our viewing bays working properly on the bridge, Dr. Erickson?
All systems are functioning as well as can be expected.
As well as could be expected. And I'll activate Shadow Pierce as we discussed.
And you look out into the endless depths. And you realize a couple of things. One of the things that you realize is that you are far deeper than you thought. You are so far down that even with Shadow Pierce, no sunlight is piercing this zone.
Mhm.
So your eyes would pick up on the most isolated photon out there in that darkness. There aren't any. You are way down beneath the photo zone. The second thing that you notice is that down probably another, well, yeah, you're using Shadow Pierce. Down about another 10,000 feet is this very dim light that looks to be coral or something like it, sending these shocking signals through this brain structure. And you see, like, as you look at that and you're sort of trying to take this in, the first thing that you realize is that thing is not really here. Or it is, but it also isn't. This is not that thing's plane of origin. And the other thing that you see is off in the distant blackness beyond it, Hagye, the thing in the void itself, is dancing, and it always dances. Every time you've seen a vision of it, it has been dancing. But you're able to read into that dance to see it does not want this thing here, and it is charging you with getting rid of it. Back in the other version of the timeline, Dr. Dundston, you start to see them fading in with you. And over the course of a few seconds, you guys are all back in the bridge together. And
They're
you
in
are
the bridge
now...
with me now, or are they still in the moon pool?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, God. That is so unfortunate. Yeah. You two are in the bridge. The other two of you are in the black. So I'll end off with this. The two of you that are in the bridge sort of look at each other. I guess you've sort of gotten okay with the fact that this is happening now? And you're looking out at this brain. You two in the moon pool, everything around you is suddenly these thick black organic cords. There is an eruption of water that it doesn't feel like water. It's so pressurized, it feels like stone smashing through and breaching the entirety of the structure that you're in. And the structure that you're in collapses. You would think that I would resolve this right now, but I'm not going to.
No. Why would you?
No. Why would you? I like the way she said, like, why would you? You fucking dick.
Who the fuck does that? Huh? Who the fuck does that? Nobody does that. No one wraps it up in a nice little pretty bow for you. No, you got to leave them on a cliffhanger. Otherwise, they ain't got no reason to come back. It's
That's
just
right.
like, you give them a little bit of sausage and then they want to come back for an entire sub.
I like the way that you said that. Also, I'm intimidated and I'm feeling other things too.
I make you feel those things a lot. I like it.
Yeah.
I should start charging you.
Can I add one last thing I say as we're
Please do.
wrapping? Evelyn, accelerate, please.
Does Dr. Dundston react to that at all?
You said accelerate?
Please.
Please.
To note, Dr. Sigmundsen has been jittery and uncomfortable and not having a good time. And Dr. Sigmundsen is very clear and coherent. And he's as if he was at the banquet when we started. He seems in his element and just happy to be talking to Evelyn again.
Huh.
When he looks over and sees you kind of fade in, I'll be like, there you are. Glad you could join us.
Yeah, I'm gonna donkey punch him in the back of the head.
Probably a good call.
So generally the way that I do this is it's not actual PvP unless you want it to be. You just sort of smack him and he's like, fair enough. And Evelyn says, with pleasure, and begins to glide down the hill. We're going to call it there. Once again, thank you guys very much for joining us tonight. Thank you so much to everybody who came into the chat. I want to point out especially Jeff Fowler, who came in tonight as Alex. Oh gosh, Alex something.
Alex Morningkill.
Alex Morningkills. I want to point out, first of all, thank you so much for your 2 sub bombs and also for your donations and also for your support. I would love everybody to go check out Jeff's game, Mora, Morra. There's a link in chat. It is a fantastic cinematic style LARP experience. I had the opportunity to play it in Seattle a couple of years ago, right before the pandemic, in the mystical Rome setting. They have different settings throughout the book, basically like different games in the book. Really, really worth your time. A lot of fun, and support independent RPG developers. And now we're going to do the same thing, but I'm going to start with Pixie. Pixie, plug yourself.
Don't have anything to plug tonight. I just, again, hope everybody has a good and restful night after watching this pretty girly horror stream. And thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, this time we're going to go down to Kat. Kat, tell us what you got going on.
Well, what I got going on is modding here on the compound whenever I remember. Whippy is moving over to Discords on Tuesday. If you want to come over and hang out with us in Discord on the chat. So we won't be streaming tomorrow, but we are still recording it for patrons. So I'm hiding behind a paywall. I feel special.
Right on.
Also, I do want to make note that we ended up raising $90 for tonight's community aid cause.
Nice.
And we will be having at least one giveaway for the enamel pin for that. Still waiting on confirmation. We are closing the giveaway now, so get your tickets in. And that's all for me, dudes.
Thank you so much.
Exclamation point ticket. That gets you a ticket.
get your tickets because that pen comes from PAX East. It's one of only 5,000 of these enamel pens that was produced, and it comes from I believe Jeff is the one who donated that. Is that right? Awesome. All right. So now, Dr. Sigmundsen, aka Egger, tell us what you got going on, man.
Well, as always, I'm gonna plug my roommate, Digital Vagrant, streams Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. All sorts of various games. Lately, he's been doing lots of GTFO, lots of Deep Rock Galactic. He does a lot of Arma content. He's a fantastic streamer, an excitable little goblin, and a lot of fun to get into his streams. So
Can confirm on all those counts.
so hopefully everybody enjoys that. This is the only thing that I do, at least that's streamed. But I do want to plug James and Mora. I did a little more looking into that when we had a little bit of time, and that looks so cool. So definitely check that out.
Very cool. All right. Now we're going to move over to Aurania.
Ourania.
God damn it, every time. Aurania.
Yeah, Ourania.
I promise you that is dyslexia and not disrespect.
No. I hear you. I hear you. And because of that, I try and like provide pronunciation guide. Because sometimes that helps. I am Ourania Stars. I played Caterina Sharpe today. I'll be back next session. Don't really have a lot going on because I've been taking a step back from streaming to work on other projects. But go ahead and follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitch and also on Facebook, Ourania Stars, to kind of see what I've been up to in the interim between streaming. I've got a lot of exciting stuff to show you guys, and I've got a lot of stuff planned for when I do come back to twitch.tv. Thanks.
Nice.
Right on. And I am James Davey, the creator of the Midnight World. I would like to plug the Midnight World. We are going to be digital PDFs will be available on Drive-Thru RPG around mid-September. Physical copies will be available probably within, fingers crossed, within 90 days of that. We are actually getting a physical offset print done of the book so that we'll have nice high gloss pages. It's not a print on demand copy. You can find us at themidnightworld.com. The website is being updated, so bear with us a little bit on that. You can find us on Facebook at The Midnight World, and drop by, join us, and buy the game that I've spent the last 7 years developing. All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Oh,
We
wait, we have
gotta-
our winner.
Oh,
Gotta draw our winner.
Woo!
Hey, Timbo the Wizard. Look at you.
Nice.
First time chatter, first time winner. Get it, guy?
Nice. Right on.
Yeah.
Stick with us. We're going to go raid character player, and Timbo the Wizard, feel free to reach out to us via chat here on Twitch or in the Discord at the Net 30s to see how to get your present, your prize, your winning, your pin,
Right on.
the thing you can stick onto
Where-
things.
You can stick it wherever you want, really.
Just make sure if you stick it to other people, they consent first. Consent is key.
very important.
And affirmative consent.
Awesome.